Oh yeah, sorry, someone sent me an email thing to check, actually, with a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff in it. Let's see. There's a Pojo magazine. Let's take a look at this. This right here is the Pojo magazine. I don't know what it is. But, wait, hang on. The Pojo forum that everyone makes fun of? You're telling me that was a magazine? Is that the origin of Pojo? I thought it was just a community thing. Well, it's a freaking magazine. Okay. Alright, strategy guide for card game included. Oh, top 10 Legend of Blue Eyes cards. Creature? What does that say? Creature? Creator? That says creature, right? So the top 10 cards from Legends of Blue Eyes. Final Flame. What does that do? Isn't this just like 300 burn damage or something? 600 burn damage. 10th best card in the set. Some people might argue this card being on any top 10 lists. The reason I think it should make the list is that it is quick, easy, free damage. If you are playing a deck with lots of fast early hitters, what is this, Magic the fucking Gathering? Like what, do we need mana crystals to summon monsters now? If you are playing a deck with lots of fast early hitters, that's not how Yu-Gi-Oh works. You can definitely take advantage of this. Once you get your life points total low, your opponent might even stop attacking if he is unsure of what magic cards you have down or what your creature in defense mode is that's face down. You get the advantage. It's a card that, if used well, can deal some damage and buy you some time. 15 years ago, how old is this magazine? Probably like fucking 20 years ago, right? 15 years ago or something, they called it. They called it time. They called it. You see this? He called it. Oh, shit, it's rotated. It can buy you... By the way, seriously, I'm trying to understand this logic. How does it buy you time? How does this buy you time? This is chain burn propaganda. Blue Eyes White Dragon. I know. Some people are wondering how the most expensive card in the set is only number 9. Not only is this card the most expensive, it's the most popular. The fact that you have to sacrifice 2 monsters as a tribute is what keeps it so low. I don't see anything wrong with this card. Without some tricks in your deck to get it in play, I wouldn't recommend playing more than 1 in a deck. Play 1! It's bricky! Play 1! Oh my god. Oh my god, that's incredible. Play 1. 1 blue eyes. 1 blue eyes. Good number. Good number. Good ratio. I've seen this card in action many times. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. A lot of time, I just see it buying time to delay the inevitable. You literally just used that argument for Final Flame. Hang on. You said Final Flame was good because it can buy you some time. Now you're saying Swords Revealing Light delays the inevitable, so it's not good? So, is buying time a good strategy or not, Mr. Writer? Who wrote this? You're an idiot. I've seen several tournament decks win without it. I think in the future, with more cards available, this card will become a staple in decks with control and delay tactics. Delay tactics. Delay tactics. That's a strange term to use, but sure. For such a little monster, this guy packs a mean punch, I think that says. Man-Eater Bug is in nearly every good deck. The card is fairly easy to get and it has a strong effect. Most people play it face down and wait for it to be attacked. The thing they are good for is outright killing your opponent's face down monsters so you don't get surprised. It's a great low level monster that has earned its place in tournament winning decks. This is like the only one that hasn't given me stage 4 AIDS. Because this is everything he just said is right. Like, this card is insane. This was actually probably the best card at the time. What makes it even better is that you can choose to take a monster from your opponent's graveyard. You can take advantage of what your opponent is playing as well as your own. All fair. Unfortunately, this card is restricted in tournament play, so you can only use in a deck. Editor? Hello? So you can only use in a deck. Editor? Hello? Fissure. Raise your hand if you like to kill monsters. I know I do. This card is good for helping that along. Can we get some ha-has in the chat? Raise your hand if you like Fissure. Yeah, see what he did there? Do you see what he did there? Raise your hand. Haha. Is that it can only destroy a creature that has 1,000 value or more. This isn't much of a limitation. It kills most large problem monsters. It helps take out scary tribute monsters such as Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yes, that's exactly what I was worried about. My opponent tribute summoning Blue Eyes. That was way too slow even for fucking 2004 standards. Pot of Greed. Such a simple and harmless looking card. I would say Pot of Greed looks harmless. However, when you only have 40 cards, getting to race through them faster can be a huge advantage. We all knew from day one that this card was going to end up on the restricted list. Card advantage in a game like this can be so devastating. This card is an absolute must-have in every deck. It is free 2 cards. It is 2 free cards as soon as you draw it. That is hardly ever a bad thing. Hardly ever, just to make sure. Dark Hole is a great comeback card. I've seen so many games won from a bad position because of Dark Hole. It's a good thing this card is on the restricted list as well. It does destroy all monsters, this includes yours. That's not a bad thing though. If you need to get caught up, this card will help you do it. So you know what helps you get to Dark Hole? Do you know what helps you get Dark Hole? Pot of Greed. So you know why Pot of Greed is like... Pot of Greed apparently is worse than Raigeki in Dark Hole. Yeah? Do you know what helps you draw those cards? You could potentially activate Pot of Greed and then draw the next 2 cards on the list. Isn't that 400 IQ? Dark Hole is a card that... How can you justify, like, this order? Like, whatever. Raigeki. Finally, we've reached the top. If Dark Hole is good, then Raigeki is simply better. Wow. Not if you're playing Yang Zings, am I right, brothers? You get to destroy your opponent's monsters while getting to keep your own. You can keep your opponent from putting anything in the way of attacking your monsters. It is a great card to help you finish out a game. It hardly seems fair. Well, it probably isn't. That's why it too is on the restricted list. Star. Star. Honorable mentions. Pog. Honorable mentions. Soul Exchange. That's actually not bad. I want to read, like, the bad cards. Where are the bad cards here? Top 10 cards from Meadow Raiders? Oh boy, this... Okay, dude. Alright. Cannon Soldier sucks. It literally hasn't ever been good until, like, Danger FTK. This as monster is perfect in a late game situation. Okay, non-ironically, summoning Cannon Soldier. Not with Firewall's effect, but with its just normal summoning effect. Okay, just normal summon Cannon Soldier. Right? This monster is perfect in a late game situation when you need a quick 1,000, 2,000 damage. Don't you technically always need 1,000, 2,000 damage? This monster can easily clinch the game for you. However, this is a very specialized monster. It does one job and one job only. It becomes useless when you need a really strong offensive monster. You should only think of putting this monster in your deck if your main goal is direct damage. Even in burn decks, this card isn't played. Yo, what's the reasoning for 7-colored fish? A great addition to the small group of level 4, 1800 attack monsters. This monster was the first monster with 1800 and no detrimental effect since La Jinn. There you go, Pog. Definitely a must for any beatdown deck. It is one of the most powerful monsters you can summon without tribute. However, this card isn't as good as La Jinn due to the fact that sea monsters aren't all that popular yet. Oh, come on, is the type relevant? In old Yu-Gi-Oh, did it matter that it was Aqua or that it was a spellcaster? Was that ever a thing? I don't think that mattered. Well, unless you were playing like Yami, the field spell or something. That wasn't relevant. I don't believe that. Okay. Dark Elf, Shadow Ghoul, Sangan, Summon Skull, Witch of the Black Forest, and Magician of Faith. Those are all good cards. What the hell is Shadow Ghoul do? Measly 1600. This doesn't look like much, but when you get this card out late in the game, it can rival the power of Blue Eyes, with only requiring 1 tribute. It gains 100 for each monster in your graveyard, so you want to optimize the effect by saving it for later in the game instead of playing it at the start. In some ways, this can be even greater than Summon Skull, but with the constant fluctuation in attack power, you don't want to take chances. You're much better off going with a constant attack force. Man, I love how dramatic this is, man. I love how dramatic this is. Shadow Ghoul sucks, okay? Top 10 Meadow Raiders trap cards. Magic Jammer, Mirror Force, Change of Heart, 7 Tools, Solemn Judgment, Heavy Storm, Tribute to the Doomed, Robin Goblin. What? The Robin Goblin trap card is number 8 and it has one mean effect. When one of your monsters does battle damage, you may randomly pick a card from their hand and discard it. Robin Goblin teams up nicely with White Magical Hat, since his effect does the same thing as Robin Goblin, but you'll be discarding 2 from the hand. Take out his hand can give you total advantage of the game. That's not a +2, that's just a 2 for 2, right? Like, that's not a good combo. Making him discard monsters so they have nothing to defend with, or taking out their... Sexist, by the way. He said him. He said him. That's sexist. Taking out his hand can give you total advantage of the game, making him discard monsters so they have nothing to defend with, or taking out their Raigeki or Change of Heart, so they were saving for later. Yeah, okay, dude. Yeah, you're always gonna hit fucking Change of Heart and Raigeki. Sure. Although this card is tough to keep on the field with cards like Heavy Storm and Giant Trunade, if you can get it out and get rid of those key cards, you can probably win the game. Probably. Not 100%, maybe. If you go 2 for 2 in card advantage, maybe you'll win. Great trap card, and it's only a rare. Okay, why is Karate Man here? This guy can go kamikaze when you need to lay a whoop down on your opponent. Who wrote this? I can imagine this guy who wrote this article has a black shirt with the flames coming from the bottom, just a plain black shirt, and there's like flames on it, like Guy Fieri, and he has like tinted blonde tips, and he's like probably called Kyle. This guy can go kamikaze when you need to lay a whoop down. Lay a whoop down, by the way.
Keep smiling.